Well, g'day, welcome back to the Raise the Steak series brought to you by Aussie Beef. Shut the gates. I want you to have the very best experience every time you cook a wonderful steak on your grill or pan. So I've brought in the best, no other than the culinary director of Meat and Wine Co. and Exec Head Sydney and Perth, Executive Chef Sean Hall. How are you, brother?
Sammy,
Mate.
Thank you very much for having me.
So Chef, as you know, I hold you to be one of the most educated steak chefs in the country. It all started on the farm. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Growing up on a farm and understanding the animal, understanding the feed, understanding the difference between grass-fed, grain-fed, gave me a really true in-depth understanding of what it is to get that perfect feed, how to treat the animal, how to get it to where you need to get it. I think, Australian beef is highly commandable all over the world, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to get it right. So for me to have that understanding as of a very young age has given me the privilege to showcase this in a restaurant and cook it and have fun with it is very, very special.
And most importantly, giving these guys your secrets to nail this steak at home over and over again. It's not often that you get one of the head steak chefs of Australia giving you his tips to make sure that you nail that steak time and time again. Okay, chef, so what do we got here? We've got a wonderful board here, and there's a selection of some of my favorite steaks here. Steaks that you've showcased over 25 years of working in top establishments through South Africa, the UK, here in Australia. Talk me through it, man.
Yeah, so what we've got is we've got a beautiful grass-fed fillet. It's very lean, it's very tender, beautiful flavor. The strip loin, again, a little bit of fat that adds a bit of flavor, but a very beef, richy flavor to it. The ribeye, as you can see, higher fat content to it, needs a high heat.
My favorite steak.
Packs a punch. And then dry age, which is my preference with meat. As you know, we dry age quite a lot of beef, but on the bone, again, higher fat content, and that cooks beautifully on the grill. So we're gonna focus on how to get that perfect steak at home. So the seasoning, the cooking, the resting, and obviously the serving.
All right, we're in my favorite part of the building, the kitchen, the grill. It's time to get cracking, Sean. Talk me through the process, my man.
Time to make some magic, Sammy.
Yes, sir.
So, most important part of this process is seasoning. What I would do is take your steak out at least 60 minutes before serving. Just bring it up to room temp, let it relax, let it settle. When it comes to seasoning, this is where the magic starts happening. So here I've got the three cuts. I've got the fillet, I've got the beautiful rump pie, and I've got the strip loin. When seasoning, be generous. Don't be shy. Give it love. Give it a lot of seasoning. Make sure you cover all angles of that beautiful surface.
With the salt, mate, I see all these chefs, they go up here and they go like this, and why are they trying to make it rain on the steak?
Sammy, you cover the majority of the surface of the steak, but why I also do that, as you can see, the surface is now covered, and I like to roll it. I like to make sure that we've got all those angles covered on the steak.
Because if you go too small, you're only doing one little part of the steak,
Precisely,
not the whole of the steak.
Precisely, and you can now see all angles, all parts, that's all done. What a lot of people forget to do is I add a little bit of black pepper.
So make it rain, all right? Make it rain.
So now the fun part starts, Sammy. Essentially, there's two very important parts when it comes to cooking your steak. Part one is we're gonna look at the grill, and part two, we'll do the pan. But the most important part when it comes to your grill is make sure your grill is hot. Make sure it's really hot. You want that high temperature to start off with. The meat's been sitting at room temp. We're gonna start the process now. Once we do the second turn, we'll turn the grill down and we'll have a bit of fun with it. So let's have fun, let's start the process.
Let's go, man.
What I like to do is to press the meat down. It gives it that really flat surface, even cooking. And Sammy, as you can see, this grill's roasting. It's hot, smoke's coming off, and essentially we're just looking for that perfect sear now. I'll give it about 2 minutes, and then I'll give it a turn.
Talk to me about basting steaks on the char grill.
Sammy, I use it as a bit of a flavor enhancer. You know, you've got a few options. You can either season your salt with a little bit of extra garlic salt or paprika or that. But what I choose to do is I go through my fridge and I take a bit of ketchup, I'll take a bit of apricot jam. I'll just have a little bit of fun. And I'll put a bit of a basting together. And essentially the 2 things it does. It adds a bit of flavor and it also helps with a beautiful crust.
So you got a bit of caramelization enhancement there.
100%, 100%.
Now, Chef, degrees of doneness, right? For you at home, how do we help nail that degree of doneness time and time again?
This is my best friend. When it comes to doing a barbecue at home, doing brisket, cooking the best steak, on the barbecue in a pan, I use a thermometer.
Invest in a meat thermometer.
100%. It's easy to find. And essentially this becomes your best mate.
So for a medium rare steak, what were we pulling it off for internal doneness Celsius?
Sammy, I would aim for 50 for rare, 55 for medium rare, 60 for medium, 65 for medium well, and then all you know, 70 above for well done. Yeah. So Sammy, I think we're almost there, bud.
We are, mate, you've nailed it again. So steak night, Friday night, I want to do something for my beautiful wife. I want to French it up a bit, go back to that grassroots cooking, what we learn at college, chef. How do we do a traditional French steak, bringing the romance to the game?
3 vital tips. Thick cast iron pan is key, needs to retain the heat. Start on a high heat and also use the oil with a high smoke point. Obviously you don't want to be setting the alarm off in the house. So make sure canola oil, grapeseed oil, that works perfectly. But with a cast iron, it retains the heat. So make sure you keep a close eye on it. And as you can see, the smoking points there. So I know this pan's perfectly ready to go. Crust is key, because again, what we want is we want the blood and the flavor to be locked into the steak. If you lose that, the steak's gonna be very dry. You're not gonna have a lot of flavor. Listen to that sizzle. Essentially ensuring that you lock that flavor in there. You can see it's gonna start ejecting a little bit of blood on the side, and then you know you're on the mark.
Unbelievable.
And as you can see, I'm pressing down on the steak, not too hard, but essentially I want that even cook. And as you can, if you look at the side there, you can see that's been formed. And when I cook in a pan, I'm not scared of turning. I continuously turn because I want to make sure that I go through the searing process, but also even cook. But I want to make sure that I reach that right temperature. And because the pan's hot and it's retaining its heat, it's vital to turn.
Now, one of the things I always get asked is, why does the steak have to be so thick? Is it so you can control the doneness?
100%. You know, go for a thick steak, a thicker steak. It's easier to control when cooking. But again, when resting, all those juices, all those flavors is retained within the steak. The thinner the steak, the harder to control, and also it loses that juicy.
So, thicker steak, that looks to me 3 to 4 centimeters thick. That'd be about a 300 gram.
300 gram. And I would say for a fillet, go for 200, 250, 300 max.
So ask your butcher or have a look at the core weights when you're in your supermarket. Make sure that you're getting that thick steak so you can control the degree of doneness to get the ultimate result.
So what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start preparing the garlic. Obviously I want to enhance it with a bit of flavor. And the reason I'm smashing the garlic out is I want all of that flavor to come out. So I'm going to heat the pan with some fresh garlic, a little bit of thyme, and loads of butter. And then we're just going to baste it and keep basting.
Oh, and you're getting all those nutty flavors
from the burnt butter, the fresh garlic.
Look at that crust. And what I see there, Chef, is you're sticking the thermometer right in the center.
Into the center.
That's important, right? Because that's the true measurement of the degree of doneness in that center of the steak. Yep.
So Sammy, we've hit 52 degrees. I think that's perfect. Let's give it a little bit more love with the basting and then rest.
Rest it.
And as I said, the resting is the most important part of the whole process.
100%, because what happens, right, if you don't rest the steak, it's all tense like that, right? So by resting it, the juices redistribute from one end of the steak to the other, and you get an even tenderness all the way 100%. Through every mouthful.
And the worst thing at home is when you cut your steak and it's not been rested, and all those lovely juices just seep out of the meat.
And then it runs through your vegetables, you know.
That's not. So the hint and the tip is make sure you rest it. Make sure you give it enough time to rest. And what I think you should do is if you cook your steak for 5 to 7 minutes, rest it for 10 to 15 minutes. So Sammy, as you can see, we've now rested the steak. We've given it a good 8 to 10 minutes. Put a pan on the side, heat it up. You give it that literally a 30-second sear on each side and you're good to go. I think people are scared of doing that, but how do you think we do it in restaurants? And as you can see, once we started carving, it's still got loads of beautiful moisture going through the meat. It's not lost any of the juices.
Okay, chef, there's a whole table of brilliance here. Walk me through it.
So we've done the beautiful ribeye. We've got the strip loin. And as you've seen, we cooked it all to medium, right? Beautiful. This is the pan-seared fillet, going back to old school. The majority of the guys and people at home, this is the way to go. And then we thought, as a treat, we just added in the ribeye on the bone. As I've said earlier, bring your steak up to room temp. Make sure you season it properly. Cook it on a hot grill or hot pan. And please make sure you rest it.
Chef, all I can say is that you have brought the beef to the table. Chef Sean Hoare, shut the gates, my friend.
Thank you very much.
What a legend.
Thank you.